Hey everyone, this is live Doppler 13 meteorologist Sean Ash. Time now 6:43. If you've been following us on social media, you know that we knew there was going to be an increase in coverage and intensity of thunderstorms, and that's indeed what's going on. These are clustering around I-74, and we still have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. In fact, just had a new one issued northeast of downtown Indianapolis. Going to impact Lawrence, Spring Lake. Eventually, if it holds together, that will make it over into Greenfield. A lot of the storms, downpours, lightning, some of them, unfortunately, are taking advantage of a lot of storm energy in the atmosphere. And what they're doing, these things will build up and they collapse, and we get some downburst winds out of these. And that's pretty much what's been the case here. We have power outages, and we're updating on that. Jenny Runovich is with me. And Jenny, during our 6 o'clock show, we talked about there was a couple thousand in Hendricks.
Right. Want to kind of clarify, upon further investigation, those 2,300 or so power outages in Hendricks County are not storm related.
Okay.
Turns out Duke Energy says a vehicle actually damaged their equipment. That was the cause there. However, there are 300 or so in Boone County, and Sean, that appears like that might be in fact storm related.
That made a lot of sense. I was a little perplexed when we were doing
right.
the show. But here's what's going on, and on live Doppler 13 radar, and I'm going to play back in time. We're going to go back the last hour, and as we play forward, you'll see a brightening over right by Zionsville. That was 60+ mile per hour wind, radar indicated. That went through Meridian Hills and Broad Ripple, and during our show, we started to detect another strong, severe wind signature, and it was right there. And that prompted a severe thunderstorm warning as we play through time, and that went through the northwest side of Marion County. And so now we've got 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, one of which they're impacting various areas of Marion County, but going to go through an area that has a lot of mature old trees on the northern side of Marion County. And as we zoom in, Augusta, you see Northwest Manor there, Lakeside, and that will move through Broad Ripple and Rocky Ripple. Again, those are areas that have a lot of older trees. And let's show you our shear rate product. This kind of cleans up the messiness of the wind velocity, and it shows you areas where the wind damage potential will be higher. I can tell you when we get these red blobs on this particular product, and we've seen that a few times, that typically is almost a slam dunk that will get some localized wind damage there. So we'll see if that indeed is the case. You see there's 82nd Street and there's College, and you can see the interstate there just south of 465. These, by the way, are moving east-southeast generally. But we've got a corridor that's going to be rather busy here between now and sunset. Now, I don't have lightning turned on right now, but I can tell you that these things are charged up, and so that's also, with or without severe wind, that's going to be an issue. So pool time's over for the day in the path of these, for sure. Yeah, Jenny.
Say, unfortunately, I'm seeing that there's a concert, family concert, free, fun family concert in Lions Park in Zionsville, supposed to start in about 10 minutes. People are a little worried that that's not happening.
Well, they're not hitting the start time. What's going to happen is this axis of storms is going to have to drift south. And that may happen, but it's not going to happen in the next 10 minutes. And obviously, as we look back to the west, we've got additional thunderstorms here. So let's look at some of our cameras. And just want to rehash, if you're just hopping on to the live stream, and we're going to do this coverage for a little bit here this evening with the threat of severe weather. Again, we're not going to have, not every storm is going to be severe, but until the sun can go down and the atmosphere starts to get capped again, we are going to have intermittent warnings because there's just so much storm potential energy. And you can see where they're tracking here. So until 7:15, that thing is centered right over Lawrence right now. And you can see who else is in the polygon. Oak Landon, so there's Pendleton Pike, technically not in the warning, in McCordsville. And let's look at the shear rate product on this particular storm. And actually, let's just look at the wind velocity while we're here. So that one may have dropped its wind payload, but the one to the west of that still has some rather strong wind with it. And that also right there just to the west-southwest of Zionsville, and that's hitting that Royalton area again. That's the second one here this evening for them. And then we work into the north central sections. We'll probably have to get an extension of the severe thunderstorm warning to include Rocky Ripple and Winedale and Crow's Nest and possibly Meridian Hills, because that's all, this whole area at least has the potential for these pockets of stronger wind as we move through here this evening. Let's take a look at our cameras. This is N.1, there you go, it's I-70, Franklin Road. Here is our vantage point from our downtown camera. In addition to all this is that smoke that we're going to have another day of poor air quality. Now the rain will knock it down temporarily, and that's our vantage point here from downtown. So just a smoky mess once again. Air quality alert, by the way, has been extended to go into Monday. And certainly if you have a sensitive respiratory system. I'm going to highlight, and you can see it. So it's this zone right here. Still some rather strong signatures. I think, in fact, if you have a chance, Jenny, check AES. We're probably, unfortunately, going to start to see an uptick.
Yeah, I had checked a few minutes ago when there really wasn't, but I will. I'll recheck right now because you're right; they are moving through pretty quick.
Yeah, and I think that zone over probably just north of, get north of 70 in Marion County, and I think that's when the odds of getting those power outages are going to increase.
Yep, we're starting to get some.
Okay.
Yep, you called it.
Okay.
About 510 customers without power, looks like. That Meridian Hills area, and then another cluster by Allisonville, Castleton, that area as well.
Yeah, so we've got multiple storms that are moving in the same, and this is what we call a training of storms. This may up the, I know it's kind of hard to believe, this may up the ante for some street flooding, despite the fact of how dry, this pattern that we've been in has been very, very dry. But, multiple cells going over the same zone is going to up that chance of seeing certainly some street flooding, if not maybe a little bit more than that. Going out back west, and let's see what's happening in Illinois, because I'm going to switch over to the radar there in Illinois. Yeah, so Let's pop it. There you go. There we go. Yep. So that's I-70 and Franklin Road there, and you can see it's just wild. I mean, even with the rain, you can still kind of see some of that smokiness in the far distance there. Time now 6:52. We are on our. We fired up the live stream here on our mobile and our app and our YouTube channels, the whole 9 yards. And so it's a nice tool when we have severe thunderstorm warnings that we don't have to hop on and interrupt our 13 programming.
And, it's really good that you're on right now, Sean, because
yeah.
I'm looking at social media, Twitter, of course, a lot of people get their information there.
Yep.
And National Weather Service is actually tweeting. They said they're having some technical difficulties with the warnings and forecast info actually reaching weather radios right now. So they're asking people definitely have multiple ways of getting that warning information. And the weather radio is usually key.
And I know people probably get tired of hearing us talk about have multiple ways because of that. It needs to be a redundancy in your severe weather planning. So yeah, we've got multiple, and technically Meridian Hills and Broad Ripple, not technically under a warning right now. That is, if it's not severe, it's not far off either. I mean, we're going to get some more power outages here, and that's Meridian Hills. You can see Glendale Heights there, Driftwood. Why I like that particular tool is it just makes all this, this is what the radar looks like from a velocity standpoint. It just basically cleans all of that up and says, hey, this is where you should be looking here. You can see most of them are within the polygons. We still have strong wind there over Zionsville. And then we've got the severe thunderstorm warning that continues. It includes Lawrence. You can see there's Pleasant Acres and Mount Comfort. Not terribly fast moving cells, more of an east-southeast. I'll put the lightning back up because even outside of the wind, severe wind potential, I mean, we've got the lightning. So that's going to impact these outdoor plans. Jenny was talking about a concert there in Zionsville, and so you can see, and this lightning, by the way, that I'm showing you, that's just 10-minute lightning. That's not half-hour stuff. That's within the last 10 minutes. And so,
and we saw those power outages pop just
again,
in a few minutes. Yeah. So it looks like the largest concentration right now, at least for AES, is right around 71st, just west of Keystone, and then the Ravenswood area. Okay. And there's a lot of mature trees in that area, so it doesn't take much for something to knock into a power pole. Yeah,
and our map hasn't updated there just yet. And that thing takes a second or two. Eventually, it will update. But let me just double check here. Not seeing any damage reports yet. And I'm okay if we don't have any of those. And our desk will obviously be on top of it.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet either, so that is some good news.
But yeah, some of these radar signatures earlier certainly were rather impressive. And that's when the warning started coming out during our 6 p.m. newscast here. And if you missed that, that's why we're here. We still got some severe thunderstorm warnings. Let's look back at our cameras here. And these are kind of in an interesting position because they're north and northeast. Yeah, so this is, let me get my bearings straight. Yeah, that's okay. That's a great view. So this is looking north. If you look at the bottom, you can see the central library there, and there's 65, and you can see the split there on the right. So yeah, so that's looking into the core of one of the storms. That's the one that's over Rocky Ripple and Meridian Hills. That's not, and so I remember, so I just said that they might have to issue a new warning because we were in between cells, and that's indeed what just happened here. So they put out a new severe thunderstorm warning, and it basically encompasses the northeastern half of Marion County. All right, so I think it was just a matter of time. So we've got Butler University, Rocky Ripple, up north, and back to the northwest.
And I will say, Ruoff Music Center, we talked about concerts. Fall Out Boy is there tonight, and they're saying, okay, everybody seek shelter in the venue. Go to your cars. They're going to keep, sending notices whether the show can go ahead and resume. But
and so I think the way it looks in terms, and we're looking at the radar, so you see Ruoff Music Center close enough to the lightning for sure. Now the severe wind is likely going to stay a good deal south of Ruoff, but you can see the lightning's just too close, and so it's going to take a little bit for this axis. But here's why the new warning has been issued, and by the way, that new warning goes technically until 7:30, and that's going to be for, again, wind potential out of this. Radar indicating 60-mile-per-hour gusts, and let me take the radar back in time here. And you can see, when you start to see those bright greens And that's all moving through that new polygon warning. And so that's why they had to issue the new one. And I think that was an excellent call. Beech Grove included. We'll see how the wind spike behaves. Warren Park included in this. Lawrence included. That's a new one. And as we get in close here, this is some areas that could be getting the strongest wind right now. So we've been mentioning this several times. And if you know this particular zone, you know how mature those trees are. So, and keep in mind what we've had over the last few weeks, Jenny, and is that some of these trees have been weakened by multiple rounds of storms.
That's true.
And I noticed that around our neighborhood. It wasn't the first storm, but it was the second one. And then I think
they're taking a repeated beating.
Yeah. So that kind of ups the ante a little bit there as well.
Which is always tough for these neighbors because you move to that kind of community so you can enjoy the foliage, you love it, and then at times like these it can be tough.
Yeah, so you can see the parade of storms, if you will. Let me put the lightning back on. Of course, we got the wind potential, but as we go farther north, Lafayette, no problems. Kokomo, no problems right now. Frankfort. But as we get into the metro area, and and there's also a big difference in the metro area, at least for now. Mooresville compared to what's rocking there, Meridian Hills and out toward McCordsville and Geist, and then not too far from Eagle Creek. And you can see Zionsville, again, back into some lightning strikes. So you can see how everything's behaving. These storms are taking advantage of, earlier in the afternoon when I came into work, I was just looking at some severe weather parameters. And I was like, man, anything that pops up has a lot of energy to basically squeeze out of the atmosphere. And they are taking full advantage of that right now. We didn't really have much of these things aren't related to a front or anything like that. It just once one triggered, it became the cascading effect to where we got multiple thunderstorms, which wasn't a complete surprise. Just didn't know how many severe thunderstorm warnings we were going to get out of this. And but we've had several severe thunderstorm warnings so far. But that's why we're going to be on the air. We got our crews making some calls, and they're great checking on scanners and things like that to keep us in the loop. I might try to see if I can take control of the NDOT camera and just kind of swing that bad boy around. But so this is our camera again. This is from that's the one that's just outside of our station here. Yeah, hang with me. This is the one atop Salesforce, pivoted around, looking toward the north, looking into the rain curtain that's coming down. Real heavy rain that's falling with this cell. And we'll see if we can pick up on any of the lightning with the storms, which, I haven't seen much when we've been looking at this camera, which is kind of fascinating because I definitely know there's lightning with that bad boy that's to the north of downtown Indy. And so again, multiple severe thunderstorm warnings in the metro area now. Let's slow the radar down. Just want to let you see the movement, and you can see where the concentration of lightning's been over the last 10 minutes or so. Let's look at our shear rate product. Yeah, and still within these polygons, this is, we've seen some of the red on our shear, and there you go. One's over Lawrence there. It's labeled 36. It's Pendleton Pike, right? But yeah, there's Lawrence, and you can see Oak Landon. There's 56th Street, and we expand out a little bit, and we still have a couple other clusters as well. So, yeah, gonna have to hang tight, friends. We'll keep an eye on Ruoff for you. Eventually, it looks like the axis of storms will drift gradually to the south, and these should diminish but it's just going to take some time. It's going to take some time before that happens here. But yeah, you can see storms that go all the way back out into Montgomery County. And it looks like we might have a new severe thunderstorm warning. Let me just double check in the chat here. Oh, okay. Yeah, radar indicated right now. Radar indicated 60 mile per hour gust. Yeah, someone just sent me a tweet from. It says, "Dude, this is wild at 86th and Township." So I believe you. Yeah, caught in the core of the storm there, without a doubt. You can see the downpours and lightning, and take the radar back, see how the wind has been behaving here, and we look for these bright greens, or sometimes it's bright red, depending on how it's located to the radar here. But yeah, that's at minimum, that is a Florida downpour with a core of wind to contend with.
And because of that, Sean, power outages definitely jumped for AES.
Okay.
We're at about 1,500 right now,
Okay.
Most on the north side, as you'd imagine. The biggest cluster is still Meridian Hills, but the Castleton area, actually, no, that's now the biggest, about 940 in the Castleton area right now.
Okay.
So,
yep. And then we're seeing quite a wind spike there. This is going to go right across Meridian Street too. There's Ditch, and yeah, there's 86. So yeah, this right in it. So this is going to cut right over Meridian, and this is just another one of, we call them downbursts. And it essentially is just that all the rain-cooled air out of the storm is plunging toward the ground, and then when it hits the ground, it does a pancake, it sprays out, and that's where we'll get localized severe wind gust, and that's what's going to happen in this storm. But what they will typically do is issue a polygon that's a bit larger than that. And that's what we're seeing here. So multiple severe thunderstorm warnings for the metro area. Let's put this is the standard. And these warnings will continue. And you can see Hancock in the line of fire with these. So far, southwest side dodging this one for now. But you're not going to dodge it there in Hancock County. The worst looks like it is going to stay to the south of Noblesville and stay, at least with these storms, south of Westfield and south of Sheridan. Let me put on our storm reports, and we'll see if that populates at all. Let me see what we've got going on here. So yeah, again, multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. If you're in Carthage, if you're in Knightstown, obviously in Greenfield, this thing's on top of you now. Wilkinson, Spiceland, I definitely watch this. We're not talking tornadic, but definitely the potential for severe wind gusts that we're going to be seeing here until these things can completely collapse, and that's just not going to take place. Let's go back to our camera once again. So you can see the core of that storm is now to the northeast. Let's go back to our camera here from downtown. Yeah, Zach and Mike, if you've got your ears open, maybe just pivot our camera a little bit to the right, pan right a little bit, if you're listening there, as that looks like where the brunt of the storm is moving to. But again, here's our NDOT1. And if you guys pop up any other NDOT cameras, just let me know. It looks like 465 on the east side getting hit pretty hard right now. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mr. Zach, too. So yeah, live coverage continues here. We're coming up on 7:08 here on a Sunday evening. Most of our day, the focus was on the smoke, the poor air quality, and we were waiting on the storms to initiate. And I sent a tweet out. My initial thought was they were going to start over in central Illinois and then work in. And in reality, they actually developed just north and northwest of Indy. And they are utilizing whatever available energy is in the atmosphere, and actually it was quite a bit. And that's why we're seeing this eruption of thunderstorms, and all moving along this axis. And you can see this is just a 15-minute lapse, by the way. But these go all the way back out into Montgomery County, heads up Hendricks County. We'll see if these storms, because central and southern Hendricks has not had a lot of storm action, so there's still some energy in the atmosphere when those cells that are over Rochdale and Ladoga move in. So we could see that cell intensify. Wouldn't shock me if that happens. Just getting blasted there on the east side of Marion County, east-northeast. And yeah, that's Lawrence, Brendanwood. That's a strong storm that's moving through here. And boy, that's got to be one heck of a ride. Mike or Zach, if you can give me an NDOT camera there, anywhere from between 71st and 38th, east side 465, just to give us a vantage point. That is caught right in that core. Let's get back. I'm starting to hear some rumbles here downtown. So yeah, now we've got our. And the problem is, because we haven't had rain downtown, Jenny, is that the smoke is
still obstructing.
It's blocking the vantage point of the storm there.
Well, and it really is a tale of two cities right now, because some folks are getting nothing,
yep.
And then
yep, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, essentially the Hamilton, Boone, Marion County line, and then toward the east is taking the beating right now. And there you go. So that's I-70. That's east of State Road 9. And let me see, NDOT 2. Okay, there we go. So there you go. That's 465 and Fall Creek Road there. The rain will, in some areas where it falls, will help with the smoke. Yeah, that's on the northeast side of Marion County. Let's get it back to live Doppler 13 radar. And if you're watching us on Twitter, if you're in the storm or something, you want to tweet Jenny, tweet myself. Either way, let us know if you're in the path of these cells here.
Yeah, let us know what you're seeing, what you're hearing.
Let me put the shear rate back on. So at least right now, we're not seeing as many of the pockets of stronger wind like we had earlier. Let me just go back. And let me just show you this, what's called the shear swath. So Jenny, this will be interesting. So this basically is just that. It's a swath of the strongest wind that we've had with these storms. So you can see where it's gone from, and that will be where most likely this is where we're going to have our concentration of power outages.
Yep.
So in terms of AES and
AES right now, that strongest one where there's about 900, it's near 71st and 75th and Binford.
Okay.
Right around there. So I don't know what you're seeing. I'm a little far from the map, but yeah.
I just got a tweet from Zoe and Broad Ripple, nickel-sized hail. So, and that is, it's going to be one or the other with these cells. There's definitely some severe hail potential. So, and there we go. Got a new severe thunderstorm warning downstream. So this is going to be for Rush and Shelby. And that's going to be for the storm or storms, if you will. And so, yeah, we were telling you to keep an eye out. Rushville, Morristown, that goes until 7:45. Radar, and again, this is radar indicated 60 mile per hour wind and 3/4 inch hail as well. So additional, and we may see these warnings just expand as these storms drift in that direction here. So it is going to be a bumpy evening. We know of at least 2 concerts, one in Zionsville, one at Ruoff. And for Ruoff, still got the lightning that's close by.
Yeah, they told Fall Out Boy is supposed to play there tonight, but
Okay.
yeah, so people are seeking shelter in the venue, in their vehicles. Still no word on
So that's
when that might resume.
That lightning strike there is 12 miles away. This one is about 5.5 miles away. And you mentioned the show in Zionsville. And it looks like we may be getting some, let's see.
Yeah, broad ripple hail.
Broad ripple hail. All right, awesome. Well, not awesome, but we will have pictures to show you. Yeah, so it's, again, a swath of storms that started during started before our 6 p.m. newscast, but started to ramp up as expected, and you can see the main track of these basically from Crawfordsville, Zionsville, northeast, eastern Marion County, and now barreling through Hancock County. And now we've seen this extension of the severe thunderstorm warnings.
And the outage map has jumped again by several thousand. All north of Indianapolis, in Marion County, AES reporting just over 4,000 customers lost power.
Okay.
So yeah, and it looks like
hang with me, Nick. Don't freak out here. I'm just going to slide this over.
looks like around Nora is the spot getting hit
Yep.
hard.
Yeah,
Yep.
and you can see it. I mean, there you go. So there's the AES map, and you can see the concentration. Not a surprise based on the wind swath.
Those yellow triangles, those are the largest number of outages.
Looks like that's near Nora. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just north of Ravenswood.
Okay.
Yep. So that's like over 1,000 each.
Yeah, there's Meridian Hills. Yeah, so there's another one. Yeah, that's out by. Yeah, you mentioned that not too far from Castleton. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so these numbers they'll keep going up. That seems fairly likely. So we're at 4,000 now, so we'll go from that map to the sheer swath map, and there you go. It coincides with what we're seeing there.
And hopefully we're able to turn around this hail video. I'm watching it right now.
Yes.
So hopefully we can turn it around for the folks watching on the live stream. It's some intense stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, and here's the hail. Here's the hail swath.
Okay.
As well, and there's broad ripple. So, yeah, that's the 2 components of severe weather. Of course, outdoor time, lightning is always going to be severe, and so this is the last half hour just to give you a feel for the movement on these. And then where they're going to be heading toward. The cluster now is from the north. Let's put it still near Broad Ripple, and when you look at that purple on Live Doppler 13 radar, that is the hail that the viewers are letting us know about here.
Getting a report also of some small hail in Greenfield as well.
Okay.
So.
Yep, and that. As we move to the east-southeast, there you go. So let me turn the lightning off. Right there, that's the hail core that went through Greenfield.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve, to report that. Appreciate it.
Moving east and southeast. So, again, I'm turning the lightning off just so you can just see the movement. Let me just check on warnings and. Yeah, so multiple rounds of thunderstorms here. And let's take a look at our cameras again. Nope. Yep, look at that. So that's, I mean, that, yeah, and the thing about the rain too, it will take, you know, we've had some of the smoke's been near the surface, but there's also a whole bunch more above. And so the rain's going to knock some of this down.
I was going to say, will it help clear that?
Yes and no.
Temporarily?
Yeah, temporarily.
Okay.
And it certainly will cool you down temporarily as well.
Yeah.
Now there's our view from downtown, and let's get back into that.
Yeah, not fun to be driving in
and
this,
so look
though.
at the difference from this is the northeast side, Marion County there. Quite a difference. Let me talk to. Let's see. Yeah, if you guys can get us something maybe near Greenfields. In terms of a camera, that might not be a bad play. Greenfield kind of in the, and then here's our shot. And I don't think that we've had I don't think we've had a drop of rain here at the station.
No.
At all. But man almighty, you want to talk about a difference, and in some cases, just a few blocks is going to make with these storms. Update on the warnings, by the way, as we are about 20 minutes after 7, as we'll do continuing coverage here on our live stream for you. So we've got 2 big polygons. We've got Greenfields included, Morristown, Carthage, and Rushfield. That goes technically till 7:45. Sorry about that. And then as we move back upstream here, and then look at Zionsville right now. Even though Zionsville not in a warning, you can see the another storm over there. So again, Jenny, it's going to take some time to get that show going there.
Right. Yeah, at Lions Park, they were supposed to have a swing concert tonight, and they're swinging and missing right now.
Yeah, and we're starting to see new cells developing, still within an atmosphere. And let me just double check. See how much energy that's still left. Yeah, there is a lot of potential energy out of the atmosphere. It's called, to get technical, it's called convective available potential energy. The higher the number, the more energy that these storms can play off of. Very high values over central Indiana. So that's why we knew if something would go, boom. And that's what we're seeing. So we're seeing this eruption of storms. Let me, let's just take it back here. Yeah, so and here's the thing about the cell that's in northern Boone, north of Lebanon, is that atmosphere hasn't been touched, so it's not stabilized by the rain-cooled air yet. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. You see that cell there near Crawfordsville. That one's starting to spike up. That probably, if it's not already, that probably is going to have to be warned for hail, the way it's looking right now. I'm not seeing, but that might be a hailer here. We'll keep an eye on that. But certainly we have the hail core. Let me turn the lightning off. The hail core that's just east of, that's 62nd. That's going to go through Benford. There's
if you wanted to see
Brennanwood.
Zionsville, that's INDOT 1. If you wanted to take a look at that, by the way.
You got it. Stand by. INDOT 1 coming up. There you go. So that's near the storm, near Zionsville. Not warned for right now. We'll see if that changes. Well, yeah, still have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. And let me check. Just curious what Duke is reporting. And
it hasn't
still
changed
2,000,
much.
yeah. So, but it's still pretty much the
right. And I even looked at Boone County has a REMC, and so far only a handful of outages. So
AES is at 4,000 again, and you can see some of those clusters. So that since the last time hasn't changed too dramatically, but still 4,000.
And we certainly hope it doesn't, because
no.
especially if someone's been through the round last time, to have this happen again, frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got, so this is the latest There's the severe thunderstorm warning polygon. Goes until 7:45. Portions of Hancock and Shelby and Rush counties. And that's going to be for potential 60-mile-per-hour wind and severe hail. And then we've got the severe thunderstorm warning, Meridian Hills, at least right now. You're done. But the hail core with this storm is cutting through Brendan Wood and going to cut across, there's 71st Street. It's going to cut across 465. And let's see how this thing's behaving in terms of movement. So an east-southeast, yeah, that'll come real close to Lawrence there, and it's over Benford Boulevard right now. Those are the two those are the two severe thunderstorm warnings, and we still have additional storms around the metro area here, as we're at 7:24. And we'll see if indeed we get coverage going. So I'll tell you what. Why don't we take a little break? If that's okay with you, Jenny?
Yep.
We'll take a little break here. Okay, hang on. Our good friend Mike Orr getting us an N.2 camera. This is in. Oh, stand by. Okay. Yeah, let's take a little. We'll take a break. Mike, do me a favor. Can you, before we cut off, can you ask Mike if he just wants to keep the radar going? We'll turn off the mics for a moment, kind of.
Yes.
Regroup, and we'll see if we get some new warnings, get some new info, and we'll hop back on. But if he wants to leave the radar up, I can certainly keep that going for him. Yep. Okay. If that's what they want to do, we'll keep the stream going, and we'll just mic down for a second. But yeah, so here we are at 7:25, and one of those days where, for someone in Lafayette or Bloomington that, didn't look at radar tomorrow or even at 11 o'clock when we're kind of what
are you talking about? Yeah.
That's then kind of the day. Now, sometimes these storm clusters might be farther north, removed from the metro area, or farther south. In this particular case, it's right over 74 and 70 around Indianapolis, and that's what's going on. All right, so we're gonna stop the stream for right now. We'll keep an eye on these storms. Let me just get one last look at that. Yeah. And so we've got a lightning cluster over Zionsville that may be producing some hail as well. And let me just double check on our wind shear rate. Yeah, we've had much stronger echoes from earlier, but there's still going to be some pockets of gust over 50 for sure. And then let's just double check. Yeah. Okay. So, what's the verdict?
Yes, they will keep the radar going.
Okay.
On the live stream, and we can take our mics down for now. Yep. And thanks everyone who's been sharing reports from your neighborhood.
Yes.
That certainly helps us tell the story.
Yeah, and if you've got some friends that are at Ruoff, or if they're at any outdoor event, if you just want to give them a heads up that we're going to be on the live stream here this evening, and we will do our best to keep them updated on these outdoor plans. I'm going to keep the radar on this particular view because this is the cluster of strongest storms.
Yeah, well, and I was going to say, I know some people who are maybe at that concert at Ruoff saying, well, wait a minute, where's the weather?
Okay.
Why are we sheltering in place?
Yep.
But like you said, if lightning is close by, better be safe, correct?
Well, yes, and the storm that's over Zionsville, I mean, I can't completely say that it's not going to,
right.
That it's going to be a close call. It could build that direction. In fact, it is building east. You can see that in the last 15 minutes. I mean, So it's building in that direction, and we're getting strikes that are obviously way too close. I mean, you know, yeah. And again, it's moving that way. So that one's just going to be too close.
Yep.
They're just going to have to wait until that thing runs its course. And now so we're at 7:30. Obviously, there's going to be some acts that aren't probably going to make the stage this evening until they can get this thing, you know, get these storms settled down. So let us just regroup. We'll leave the radar up. What do we got? 7:30. How about, unless we get a tornado warning, that seems unlikely. How about I will be back on at 7:45 because we got to give our friend Nick here a break as well. He's running the show for us behind the scenes. So hang with us. Radar up. Mic's down for right now. All right, everyone, this is Live Doppler 13 meteorologist Sean Ash rejoining you on the live stream here, and we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning, and this is for Hendricks County. This is going to be a little farther south than the initial cluster of storms. Heads up Danville, heads up Avon, that bright you see there on the radar. And let me turn the warning off real quickly. That is radar indicated 45 plus and probably stronger than that. I want to show you our wind shear product because this is something that we saw earlier this evening in northern Marion County, and we're seeing it now. So this is just north of 36. That's going to be heading toward Avon, and that ups the odds that we're going to get 60 plus mile per hour wind with it within that zone. All right, so that's why the severe thunderstorm warning, the new one, has been issued. It includes western Marion County, southwestern Marion County, and that goes until until 8:15 p.m. We also have additional strong thunderstorms just west-northwest of there that are probably bordering on becoming severe as well. But that one definitely, when you look at the wind velocity, has the strongest wind signature of any of the storms that are around here. Still technically have a severe thunderstorm warning until 8 p.m. That includes Lawrence, that includes McCordsville, okay? And then I know we've had a lot of folks that have been talking about the Fall Out Boy concert at Ruoff this evening. Ruoff just tweeted out, stay in shelter. So the worst of that storm likely will stay south of the music center there, but the lightning is still probably too close for them. And we've got another storm that's up just north of Ruoff, and that may come close as well. But right now, with the two strongest storms, well, there's actually three if you count the one that's now east of Broad Ripple, and some of the storms have also had some pretty impressive hail. And let me see here. I want to show you that. Let me take this over here. Hang with me there, Nick. Just gonna. So this is from Madison Stacy. She's on our digital desk, and this is in Broad Ripple from the earlier storm. And so we had, you can see the hail there that was coming down with that storm. All right, so we got a lot of different things going on, a lot of different storms in play. Let me show you the AES map as well. Let me refresh that. Right now, AES over 11,000 customers, and you can see where the concentration is at northern side of Marion County. Meridian Hills, out towards near Castleton, and you can see where you get those triangles there, and that's, let's get a little bit closer there. So there's Nora. Yeah, you can see the concentration, and it's likely that those numbers are going to continue to rise here. So multiple severe thunderstorm warnings right now. The one that has, let me see here. Let's look at, so easy to see the strongest, that wind spike right there. So that is what we call a downburst signature. Let me play back in time here, and let's go back just about a half an hour and just watch this thing explode. And once the radar operators see that, that makes it easy to produce, put out the severe thunderstorm warning. But it's heading into Avon, so if you live around trees anywhere there, it's probably in Avon right now. I would get away from those trees as much as possible till this thing can, as that is what we call a micro burst. So we'll get this product will update, but this has got to be really close to being on Avon right now. At least that's what it looks like with the radar here. You can see additional severe thunderstorm warnings, but not nearly the wind signature like that one has. So Avon definitely in the path of that storm for sure. And I've got a couple of friends over there that interact with me on Twitter, so it'll be interesting to see what we get out of that. Hopefully not a lot, but based on the radar, we've seen that earlier this evening. That has produced, and that's why we've got all those power outages across northern Marion County. We've also had a parade of storms through there too. That definitely took the brunt of these storms have clustered along I-74, I-70, and as we look back to the west, we still have some additional cells. Of course, we're going to have to wait until this atmospheric energy can get used up and or the atmosphere becomes what we call capped. Until that happens, these storms have a lot of energy to crank out of the atmosphere, and then that's indeed what they're doing. Hopefully, I was tweeting out earlier that we expected to see an increase in coverage and intensity with these storms. That's what's happened. It just so happens that it's over one of the higher populated zones in our viewing area, which is rather large. But you can see storms that go from Connorsville all the way back to Greenfield. Heavy cell there over Lawrence, and let's see if we can have Zach and Mike try to find we've got it. Let's see here. There's 70. Yeah, I tell you what, guys, if we can get something near Avon, maybe have a camera out west in anticipation for this thing coming in, because that probably is going to go right over the airport or pretty close to it. And or maybe have our camera or downtown, we can point that thing back out to the west, because that's where this thing's going to be coming in. Of course, with the smoke, might be a little challenging. I believe this one is pointed to the problem is we have not had any rain. We have not had a drop of rain downtown. So what you're seeing a combination of a couple of different things. We've got, I think this one's pointing northeast, but we've got a couple of things going on, a lot of which, there we go, yeah, there's only, there we go. All right, so now we're looking to the southwest. Obviously, you can see there's Lucas Oil, but because we haven't had any rain downtown, we're still socked in with the smoke, unfortunately. But we will at least keep an eye on that cell that's out toward the west. Additional storms over northwest Hendricks, but still the one that is producing the strongest wind. It's over Avon now, not far at all from the international airport, probably very, very close as it buckles that direction. Let me just double check, make sure, see if we're seeing anything. And we're finally starting to get some wind reports that are beginning to filter in. Sounds like in Broad Ripple we have a train spotter, and this is not a surprise, but got some tree damage there, estimating between 60 and 65 pea-sized hail. And then in Greenfield, also have some wind damage. So not too surprising. And by the way, as we look, you can see as we look at our wind shear, it's called our shear detector, and that's that. When we get a new update, that's going to be on top of the airport. So we'll see what kind of gust that the National Weather Service office gets out of there. But the shear swath, and now we're starting to see two separate swaths, one with the multiple rounds of storms from southern Boone into western Hancock. And that's where we've seen that concentration of AES outages. And then now we're starting to see a new swath with the cell that we picked up our coverage with, that's over Avon right now. And we'll see how long that swath goes and what we get from it. But there you go. Let's put our lightning detector back on. These are still, because there's so much energy, they'll be prolific lightning producers. Now this is a 30-minute lapse of live Doppler 13 radar. So you can still see the main clustering now has, we're going to go from Hendricks and over, it's starting to slowly drift south of 70, very slowly. So that is a trend that will likely continue at least for the next, I would say, 90 minutes. Zionsville right now, the atmosphere probably used up a good deal based on these storms that have been moving through. Got some rain at Ruoff. It does look like when that storm goes by that we may get into the window there. But it's just going to be a fine line with the lightning that's close. So we'll keep an eye out on their Twitter handle and see and see when they give the all clear. Let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, kind of a busy, stormy evening depending on your location. Let's see if we've gotten an update on Duke. So Duke is over 2,200. The majority of that was from an accident. A vehicle damaged their equipment, but we're starting to get some new outages. We're getting some outages there in Greenfield, Zionsville, and we'll see if the numbers go up on that. So here we are at almost coming up to 8 p.m. here. We're doing our storm coverage here on our live stream, which is a nice tool. And if you're watching this and you've got friends that are at Ruoff, or if you got friends that are in any outdoor events that are in a holding pattern, if you want to send them the link, let them know that we're doing coverage. They can see radar, and we'll just ride this thing out and see how things progress here over the next hour or so. We definitely are getting into pockets of damage, which is not a surprise at all based on the radar imagery that we've had and have right now. Looks like there's a core of pea-sized hail there near 38th Street. Let me take our lightning off. So right in there, east of Lawrence. That's within the severe thunderstorm warning. And that technically goes until 8 p.m. They may have to expand that one farther to the east. And then we've got the severe thunderstorm warning polygon that with the cell that probably has produced 60 plus gusts based on the radar. That's then, speaking of the radar, it's over top, just about over top the dome out there at the National Weather Service office. This one, unlike the last several, this one is going to impact the southwestern side of Marion County as the axis of storms is beginning to drift a little farther south. So downtown's going to be more in play. Southport, Beech Grove, Greenwood, Mooresville. And let's take a look back out into Illinois. And so yeah, we don't have a whole lot of downstream development. So that one cell that's now crossing into the state, that might be the beginning of the end. But between now and sunset, there's still quite a bit of energy where it has not stormed. So I can't say that with 100% confidence that we're not going to have new cells pop up. I mean, there's still a good deal of energy from a day of heating, although it was filtered through the smokiness. Let's see. But yeah, you can see the storm reports have not been too extensive yet. We've got the one up to the north there, and we've had one from Greenfield. But yeah, Mike and Zach, if you guys got any cameras, if you change our cameras around, let me know. I'm gonna call up the NDOT, see what we got here. So it's that's 70, and you can certainly, so that's out High School Road. So this will be good. So if you look left, you can see the radome. That's the radar there. That's the packaging facilities out at the airport. So this will be a good camera. I appreciate you guys calling this one up, because this will be a good one to kind of give us a nice live view and see what's going on as the storm that has the airport's under a severe thunderstorm warning right now. Looked like Avon got a good wind burst, good or bad depending on your outlook, and there's another wind burst in between Danville and Avon right now, based on radar. So we'll watch that camera, and let's go back to live Doppler 13 radar. So at this time, one severe thunderstorm warning. Here's the wind velocity. So there's a couple of different wind spikes that we're noticing on the radar. There's the one that's at the radar now, and then a new storm, and we're finally getting some rain here in downtown. Can hear it hitting our roof here. So there's a storm that's on the back side of the one that prompted the warning. We'll see if that thing's going to intensify a little bit. But yeah, here at our station for the first time today, and once again, so we've got a concert at a park in Zionsville, and obviously there's Ruoff. So let me double check see what Ruoff has tweeted out. So here's the vantage point from downtown, where we're starting to get some rain for the first time. That's the smoky scene. And by the way, air quality alert has been extended into tomorrow. The rain will locally help some of the values. But we've got another round of storms, by the way, tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, scattered to numerous. And let me give me that. This is our camera again. Out by the airport, or at the airport, if you will. But yeah, so live Doppler 13 radar. We still have a lot of lightning with the storms, and there's the one that's prompted the severe thunderstorm warning. Shear rate, Avon again, between Danville and Avon again. And so again, what you're looking at, this basically just takes all the messiness of the radar. And yeah, we're really starting to get some rain here now. Takes the messiness of the wind velocity. But even on this product, you can still see where the wind spikes are. Maplewood, you see Avon there. So that warning technically goes another 10 minutes. If these signatures continue like this, they will undoubtedly have to extend the warning time and possibly extend the polygon itself. You can really see where the concentration of storm clusters are now. Setting up over the city and then drifting to the east and southeast gradually. Let me just, we're 8:04 here. If you're on Twitter, just send me a tweet if you've got storm info. We'll pass it on. But I do want to look at Ruoff real quick and see if they've tweeted anything, any updates. All right, so 17 minutes ago, show will continue. If you exited the venue, please make your way to the gates. So obviously they're saying show starts in 10 minutes. Okay, so there you have it. Got a friend of mine, got a couple of them, appreciate you there. Wind and small hail in Avon, not a surprise what we're seeing. And then in Westfield, dodged it. He's got a smoky sunset that I just tweeted out. This is, yeah, that's from Joseph, and that's in Westfield there. You can see it, and that's that smoky, so where it's rain or raining, you'll get some improvements on this. But that's pretty much what you're going to wake up to tomorrow morning. And then if you haven't seen, this is from earlier. Broad Ripple's had a couple of different storms. So this is from Madison Stacy, works here at the station, sent this one to us. Pea-sized hail. And that's kind of what the strongest storms, the cores of them, had looked like today. And that, again, was from Broad Ripple. And you can see where the storms are right now. Hamilton, Hancock, Marion, that's been allowed to expire. Let's see what we got here. Yep, no, thank you, Hoosier Hay Farm. We appreciate you, brother. Let's go back to that NDOT camera, and whoop, there we go. Yeah, so that's, again, on the left, you can see the radome, and that's within the storm now. That's prompted the warning. All right, yep, and okay, I'm gonna try to turn this around here. So yeah, that's what's prompted the warning for the southwestern portion of Marion County. And right now, based on radar imagery, the wind burst, there's a couple of them. Avon's still in it, but we got a wind burst that's moving near the radome. I'm going to, looks like we got some wind damage pictures. I'm going to try to turn this one around real quick. As power outages are been going up here this evening. Hang tight with me, friends. Yes. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's what I'm trying to turn here real quickly. Yep. All right, so this is, there you go. This is Broken Poles. This is north of 100 South, 600 East. It's from 9 Star Connect there. So this is in Hancock County. From an earlier storm that was being warned for. So we've had some pockets of wind damage, unfortunately, and obviously when you start knocking power poles down, then you're gonna get the outages climbing, and that probably is one of the reasons we've got almost 400 Duke Energy in Greenfield. We've got looks like an epicenter near Zionsville. These are Duke Energy. And then let me pop up AES one more time. So this is, so we're roughly around 11,000. And you can see the swath of outages there. That northern section, basically north of 70. And we've got some, looks like, yeah, there's Arlington Woods, there's up 465, there's out by Castleton Farms, and then we've had a lot there around Meridian Hills, College there, Meridian Street North Side, and around Nora, just south of Nora. So, and that is not a surprise when we see the shear swath that I'll show you here. That matches up almost perfect. Well, you can just see the storms themselves, how they've tracked here this evening. And here's the shear swath, and you can see there's two distinct paths with the strongest wind from these storms. You can see around Zionsville and then through that northern portion of Marion County, and then the one that's currently going on right now over Hendricks County. Now that one might have dropped its strongest wind. Let's go back and look at the shear rate here. Yeah, so we'll see what it looks like because it's over the radar now. And let me just circle it. So it's over the radar. It'll be interesting to see when that core that's over the radar, what it looks like when it gets on the eastern side. And we still have a new, kind of the backside, if you will, that's just north of Danville. And so again, we got two wind pockets. There's one that's right here, and one that's currently over the radar site. So we'll see what the Weather Service, what kind of report we get from them here in just a moment. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see. And we'll see if indeed they're going to extend the warning by any stretch here, as we're 10 after 8 right now, and been a little bit of a bumpy evening for us. No severe thunderstorm watches, but we knew earlier that there was going to be the potential that we might have a few warnings. Certainly felt like there was going to be an uptick in coverage and intensity, and that is definitely the case here. So we're at about 8:15. We got about another hour before the sun completely goes down here. But you can see, in fact, let me go back a couple of hours, and you can see, well, even before then. So this is 4 hours. Now earlier today, I had circled. I tweeted out an image and had circled this area where I thought that would be the storm initiation point. And then about an hour after that tweet, it became apparent that it was going to be farther east. Either way, we still felt like these storms were going to expand, and then you can see the progression along 74 to where we are now, which is a concentration over Marion County, Hendricks, and then down into Rush County, Rush and Fayette. Love the rain, need it, don't want power outages, and don't want severe weather as well. Let me, what's the 8:15? Let's see if they're going to extend this warning or not. Right now, it doesn't look as strong, but again, it's over the radar site, so it's a little misleading. But even the wind values are not as strong as they were. But if you're in Homecroft, Greenwood, it's just about on top of, just about on getting to Beech Grove, and heading towards Southport. This thing should build your way a bit, and you should be able to cash in on some rain here and rumbles of thunder. Let's take a look at another view of some of our cameras. This is the one out, again, this is the cell that's over the National Weather Service office, airport. And you can see how quickly the roads get waterlogged. This is looking southwest. And then we've got our vantage point here downtown, where you can see we're in the rain right now, and this is the Greenfield rest area where it's not as heavy. You can easily tell the difference from that shot right there, that the smoke and haze not nearly as bad as it was earlier. Let me take a look here at our latest AQI. And this is before the rain. This will update, but we were pushing 158 in Indy on our AQI. Not in the ballpark of the last batch, but that's the highest it's been since the last batch. And so yeah, it would be nice. We're going to still have to wait it out. We've got another round of storms late tomorrow afternoon, and I think once we get through that, this layer is going to start dissipating. So at this time, that warning has been allowed to expire. So we're going to close the stream down for right now. Just know that there's still going to be inconvenient storms if you've got plans this evening, whatever those might be. Over downtown now, points east, southeast, and improving dramatically based on radar imagery for the show at Ruoff. Okay, we appreciate you trusting us for weather info. Hopefully it helped you make some plans here and keep you informed. And we will have a full forecast. Of course, it's online right now, but we'll see you at 11 p.m. And if we need to hop back on here at any point this evening, we will certainly do so. You guys be safe.